a brother from young African American brother from the Bronx called Percy P. And you know, when I first started learning the history of hip hop, I learned that there were so many good arguments for reparations that were based upon the royalties that were stolen from people, and the idea that there were so many people that were just left out of history based upon like what their contributions to the game were. You know, just to see Grandmaster Caz have his lyrics stolen, and the most famous song that we know, the hip hop, the hip hop, yeah, a lot of them bars were taken from somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, basically, Ghost Rick was one of the first great songs that there were. You know, I learned about these things. The people that were there were really honest with me. Another friend of mine that I made from back in the day was Ali Shaheed Muhammad. He was part of a group called Tribe Called Quest. And, man, I gotta say, he's one of the realest dudes I ever met. He was so honest about like what the game was like back then. You know, kind of the pitfalls and how, you know, they were getting screwed over by the label, and you know what it's like to be in a group versus being a solo artist. And he was like, "Yo, you lucky you're a solo artist, Technique. Like, you know, when you're in a group, you always have to deal with other people's stuff." And this is at the same time that he was going through problems with Tribe and stuff. But it was crazy because, you know, God rest his soul, he would talk to fights, and Ali Shaheed Muhammad is a brilliant man and a peacemaker, and I'm glad that people got to a good place, at least, you know, when
before you transition, right?
You know, I know Ali Shaheed Muhammad is a good brother. He put me on to a lot of things. So, like I said, I've had a lot of people in the game that have helped me over the years. Lord Finesse, definitely a good dude. And I've just met everybody in the game by passing one way or another. Mm-hmm. But it was just some people, they stuck out a little bit more because of whatever, like, you know, like I'm much better friends with Rakim than I am with Big Daddy Kane, for example. Mm-hmm. But these people are all like, they're like titans in my eyes. You know what I mean? I'm one of the younger gods. These people are tight. They created the world I live in. So I can never not have respect or pay homage to those people that came before me. And that's what I learned, and that's where I get a lot of my success. And not just learn from their success, but hey, the OGs on my block told me a long time ago that if the big homies just talk to you about all the cool shit that they did, they're not teaching you nothing, my dude. They just bragging you. It's when one of the OGs start telling you the shit that fucked his life up. That's when they teach you. And that's when you gotta listen and learn, you know?
And you reflect a lot of that in your music. You have a storytelling, teaching style, and that's one of the reasons I gravitated towards you. You know, you can spit, but you're not spitting for the sake of just saying a bunch of words. You're not throwing the word salad at people. I really appreciate that about you and your style.
Thank you, brother.
Now, what was your break? What was your big break? Because me and you from the same era, I call it second generation hip hop, because Mel and Kaz and those guys, that's first generation. We part of the second generation. What made you, first, what was your big break? And second, what made you go, I can do this?
Well, I think what's funny about you mentioning that is that that's actually one of my big breaks. The fact that people thought I was from the second generation. I never released music in the 90s. I was actually incarcerated until 1999, and the first record I ever put out was at the end of 2001.
Wow.
I was so closely associated with that era because I was freestyling back then. I was in battles. So I came into the game a little bit later than a lot of other people. So the superstars in the underground when I was coming up were people like Pumpkinhead, Jean Grey, Company
Super
Flow, just Stronghold, so Breeze Ever Flowing, Poison Pen, and a bunch of other people that formed that collective. And it was just like that the time in which I spent just honing skills with other people, I think also helped me out. There was a group called Natural Elements and a dude named Jigsaw the Puzzler that used to rock with them. So these are people that I always mention their names because I got to give credit to people who helped me get my craft to where it want to be. There were a lot of really, really dope storytellers back then in that transitional era. like for people that want to listen, and it was a Christian rap group, I believe, but they were called the Boogie Monsters.
I remember them.
They had a song called Old Man Jacob's Well. I thought that was a dope story. I thought that the Tupac told a lot of great stories too. I think that some rappers, they would tell one story in one verse and then veer off and never finish the story. And I'm glad that I learned how that made songs seem awkward. So,
right.
Yo, if you tell a story, you gotta follow through. You gotta hear the end of this fucking story, homie. You can't just be in here like, oh yeah, and then this happened. Nah, man, what the fuck happened, man? Don't tell me no half story.
Yeah, that's dope, man. So okay, 2001. What was your big break?
I think in 2001, I kind of got to be. I think what. Because I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think I really had a so-called big break. I don't think that there was any one particular day in my life. Because for sure I did the battles, right? But at the same time, the battles they weren't things that were making me the most popular. Like I battled plenty of people, and people respected me for that. But at the same time, it was really just the consistency, like me going on tour and staying on tour. It wasn't because I went on tour once. It was because I was like, nah, I'm leaving and I'm not coming home, Like I'm going. I did a lot of touring with other acts. I opened up for so many other people, so I can't say it's just one break. I opened up for Wu-Tang, one time. I opened up for Rage Against the Machine. Like I did so many. I did a show open up for Biohazard. Like anybody. I didn't care, brother. I didn't care what genre people were from. I would go in. So I can't say in all honesty that I had one big break. I think it was a lot of different things that happened in my career that led to that enabled me to really maximize the potential that I had in terms of making music.
You're independent, right?
Yeah. I'm president of Viper Records, which is the label that I'm at, and we have a distribution deal, and we manufacture everything ourselves, make our own T-shirts. I sell them on my website, viperrecords.com, and I tell people I appreciate, if they can't, and this is my mentality, because I figured this is the generation I grew up in, and when I was I handled, because I was intergenerational, like between those two generations, I handled the transition much better. So when other artists, and not to say that it was older artists, but it was mostly older artists, would get upset, be like, yo, this is bullshit, these niggas pirating music. I'd be like, yo, man, you can't be mad at these kids. You guys accept the fact that that's just how it is now. And so when kids came to me and they were like, oh, I got your CD for free, my nigga. Other artists would argue with them. They would get insulted. They would be like, fuck you, don't try to play me, homie. And I'd be like, what are you doing, man? This nigga went and stole your music online and you're mad at him? Like, yo, you gotta get with the program, my dude. These people love you. You gotta focus on that.
Right.
So when people came up to me and said that, they'd be like, oh, yo, Technique, I got your music offline. I say, thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. And then if you can do me a favor, they'd be like, what? I'd be like, yo, burn that shit for someone you think would like it, please. And people would look at me, wow, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that. That's what I mean by networking those relationships. You know what I mean? Properly use social media. So y'all up there looking at ass all day. Wonderful. Everybody loves a big booty. But what about looking at people who follow the same type of worldview that you have? People
exactly.
Really
like-minded people.
Trying to do something different. You got to be working with them, retweeting what they do. Thinking about what's going on with the lives of the people that are in your community. You know what I mean? What can I do? Sure, presidential politics seem like a sham. Fine, but what about local politics? The local sheriff, the local person in charge of this and that. Come on now, that's actual functional government. That's different than everything else. That's actual things that impact your community right there and then. That's something you can change, bro. that's real, because that's not just posturing. That's not for the TV. Those are people that can change the ordinances in your town. Those are people that are in charge of making sure that the bank can't skip out on giving our people loans like they have in the past. No, we deserve a shot. We're not asking for nothing but what we're owed. You know what I mean? We don't need no handout. We need the opportunity and the money you stole from our people. That's it, man. That's all we want.
Point blank, period.
That's it, brother.
And the irony is, that's exactly what I was saying right before you came on. It's about solution based. We know what the problems are. We know what a discrimination is. We know where all the bodies are buried. Now that we know that, let's come up with a solution instead of always saying what we don't, what we can't, and what we should.
I hear that, brother.
And you know what, man? How much more time do you have?
It's closing up on. I went over the 45-minute mark.
Okay.
But if you could ask me one more question, it's not a problem.
How can we help you? And I put your website in my chat room already, and when I tweet out everything after the show, I'm gonna include it on that. How can we help you? And what do you think we can do as a community to move towards uniting brown people? Because I don't do the black and brown thing, because we all brown.
I think one thing that we can do is, I would tell people, listen, I'm not asking for donations. I'm not asking for your money. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm here to do. What I'm asking you to do is to donate your time. If you can't donate to a cause, man, spend an hour teaching children how to read. You know what I mean? Do the part of the work that's not glamorous. You know what I mean? Be out there. Do a rebel army run in your own neighborhood. You know what I mean? Find out where the elders live. So this is what made me want to do what I did. I grew up in, like I said, 1978, brother. Right? We from around the same time. So when we were kids, right? TV had how many channels?
4 or 5, yeah.
10, right? And I tell kids that don't know, yo, fam, you know TV used to turn off at night? And they said, shut up. But no, I'm serious, kid. It used to turn off at night. No, it didn't. Yeah! There was no TV from let's say, 12 o'clock to 4:30. Then it came back on, then it was that screen, the colors.
Yeah, it was the stripes.
The elders in my community, they grew up in a time where TV only had 4 channels. And then it was only black and white. And when they turn on the TV, they hear one channel say that the virus is a hoax. They hear the other channel say that everyone's going to die and it's just fear mongering. Then they hear another channel say, oh, this is nothing's going to change, you know what I mean? Oh, blah, blah. So they don't know what to believe. And what I mean by that, and why it's important to me to continue to raise these facts, is because, you know, if our elders are vulnerable, let's not forget that they are the ones that take care of the next generation of our people. So, you know, I was told that you're once a man and twice a baby. So if you come into the game, you make it. Let's say you make it, brother. Right? Let's say you don't get killed. Let's say you don't get run over. Let's say you won't get shot by cops. You don't succumb to depression or to drug addiction. You don't get hit by a car. You don't randomly get shot in a robbery. You make it all the way through life. You know what your reward is? Your reward is to forget everything. To become old and have it be necessary for you to be taken care of by other people, man. So just remember, you gotta approach this with some humility. And how y'all can help me is by doing that in your own community. Like doing the shit that's not sexy, it's not pretty, it's not fun. You know what I mean? But that really actually does help people. That's how y'all can help me. And if you can't, you know, I mean, if you want to support the music, please come to Viper Records, buy a t-shirt, you know, buy a CD. I know that people don't listen to CDs as much, but get a physical copy of a vinyl. You know, they're like $15. We're going to have a barter vinyl. And I pledged the proceeds to go to 2 organizations, one that's helping the children of Syria and the other one that's working in Yemen. So these are wars that the United States is carrying out right now against brown people that are out there being killed for some kind of political strategic mobilization, which is not actually for their lives. Which is why I always tell people, man, we have to go back and talk to people from the homeland as well. If that's one thing y'all could do for me, go to Africa, go to Latin America, or if you can't go there, talk to the people from there and say, hey, how many times have you been in a country where people all of a sudden start talking about